Jesus. Who the fuck did this?
Welcome to episode 3 of the MetaMagix Monster Manual and the conclusion to the Last of Us Part 2 series. Previously I covered the two most common and iconic monsters from The Last of Us Parts 1 and 2, the Clicker and the Bloater, and I decided to save the best for last and the scariest monster that we have ever seen in either of those games, known as the Rat King. For the design of the Rat King, I wanted to make it as strong and powerful and as horrifying as you have seen it in the game, and I really hope that this stat block conveys all of those properties, so let's just jump right into it. To begin with some background, the Rat King is an unholy amalgamation of some of the first ever humanoids to be affected by the cordyceps brain infection. The Rat King came into being only after years of exposure to the infection. Because of this, the Rat King is classified as a huge monstrosity with the plant tag, same as all of the other infected. It is also chaotic evil. The Rat King has an armor class of 17, representative of the same chitinous armor that covers all of the rest of the infected classes. It has 200 HP, representing how much stronger it is from your average bloater or clicker, and it has 30 feet of movement. In terms of the stat array, the main focus of the Rat King is its extremely high strength and constitution, very similar to the bloater. However, these traits are beyond human capability and as such are in the high to mid 20s. It has a dexterity of 12 and intelligence of 6, representative of its limited intellect, and the wisdom and charisma stats are neutral at 10. Like the bloater before it, it has advantage on strength saving throws and athletics checks. And just like all other infected, the Rat King is vulnerable to fire damage and has resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. It is immune to poison and cannot be blinded or poisoned. The Rat King has a passive perception of 10, speaks no languages, and is a challenge rating of 15. Moving on to its abilities, the Rat King is classified as a siege monster, meaning it deals double damage to objects and structures. It also has the trampling charge ability. If the Rat King moves at least 15 feet straight toward a target and then hits it with a slam attack on the same turn, the target takes an additional 18 or 4d8 bludgeoning damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 18 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. If the target is already prone, the Rat King can make another slam attack against it as a bonus action. It also has the Rampage trait. When the Rat King reduces a creature to 0 hit points with a melee attack on its turn, the Rat King can take a bonus action to move up to half its speed and make a slam attack. Now for its actions, the Rat King can make a multi-attack on its turn, making 2 slam attacks. It can also do a spore explosion. The Rat King explodes its body in a cloud of spores on a point centered on itself in a 15-foot radius. All creatures inside the cloud or start their turn there must make a DC 18 Constitution saving throw or become infected and take 21 or 66 poison damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one, and do not become infected. See the previous 2 videos on the Clicker and the Bloater for more information on the infected mechanic. Its other action is the Slam Attack, plus 13 to hit, range 5 feet on one target, and it does 21 or 3d8 plus 8 bludgeoning damage. The Rat King is also classified as a legendary creature, and as such has legendary actions. It can take 3 legendary actions, can take 1 legendary action per turn at the end of another creature's turn, and the Rat King regains all spent legendary actions at the start of its turn. And its 2 legendary actions are the Slam Attack, allowing it to make a slam attack, and it can also move up to its speed without provoking opportunity attacks. There is also a unique mechanic to the Rat King that was borrowed from the Mythic Odysseys of Theros book, known as his legendary trait called Split. When the Rat King reaches half of its maximum hit points, its body splits, spawning a Clicker as an ally. So once you hit that half HP mark, there will then be 2 very lethal targets you have to deal with. This creature is an absolute monstrosity capable of untold destruction, and as such should be placed at the end of some sort of adventure or possibly even a campaign around the infection. In terms of where you would find the Rat King, it would be in a highly concentrated infected area that has been exposed for over a long period of time, likely years, somewhere indoors or underground. But guys, that is going to do it for the Rat King stat block, a legendary encounter to throw at your players at the end of an adventure or a campaign perhaps. As always, a link to this stat block will be in the description. It will be a link to my Twitter. The post will be there. Take the stat block, use it in your own games. Go ahead, have fun with it, guys. The fight should not be taken lightly, as there are a lot of ramping damage effects that could happen here with the slam attack and then the knockdown, possibly with the trampling charge and then another slam attack. You could potentially knock out or even kill a low-level player should your DM be a little bit sadistic. But guys, that is how I would run the Rat King from The Last of Us Part 2 in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. If you guys have any changes you want to make to this stat block, leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to see what you guys think of this stat block, and let me know also what series of games you want to see put into a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition stat block, as we are now done with the Last of Us segment of this monster manual. And I do have plans for other games in the future, but I do want to know what you guys think I should do next. So that's going to do it for me, guys. So until the next video, have fun, stay safe, and as always, happy gaming.